The story begins with a moment of silent tension where the protagonist finds himself cornered by his own limitations. He is sitting at a messy desk filled with unfinished tasks, unanswered emails, and a growing sense of frustration that prevents him from taking action. He looks at the clock, then at the computer, but seems unable to start. His mind is trapped in a cycle of procrastination. He knows he needs to act, but something holds him back. The fear of failure, the doubt about his abilities, all paralyze him. The feeling of being stuck is overwhelming. The protagonist feels like he's at a dead end. The moment of crisis is not just about physical stagnation. It is a mental crisis. The protagonist's mind begins to question his own choices, his own abilities. He feels like time is passing and opportunities are slipping away, yet he remains powerless to act. Self-sabotage starts to intensify. He tells himself he can try later or tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes, and the cycle continues. He is trapped in a bubble of inaction, with an overwhelming fear of failure, yet a growing desire to break free from it all. It is in this moment of crisis that the protagonist has the revelation. He needs something more, something beyond the easy solutions that have been offered to him. He realizes that the biggest obstacle he's facing isn't the outside world, but his own mind. The real challenge begins when he decides to change his perspective. Fear, doubt, and procrastination are not invincible enemies. They are merely barriers created by his own mind. The decision to face them head-on begins to take shape. He sets the goal to break this cycle, overcome his own limits, and finally take action. This will be the greatest challenge of his life. The beginning of the journey is more challenging than he imagined. The protagonist, now determined, begins to apply new approaches to change his mindset, but soon realizes that it's not as simple as it seemed. He faces immense internal resistance. Negative thoughts continue to arise, making him question his decision. The fear of failure still haunts him, and he starts doubting himself once more. The feeling of helplessness returns, and he feels that his steps are too small. It's as if the mountain he must climb is bigger than he expected. As he tries to move forward, the protagonist encounters a moment of great frustration. He tries new tactics, new methods, but nothing seems to work. The fear that he won't be able to change intensifies, and he begins to think about giving up. He feels like he's slipping back into old habits, like nothing has changed. Discouragement takes over, and he starts questioning whether he is truly capable of achieving the transformation he desperately wants. It is a constant battle against his own mind, pushing him toward inaction while he desperately tries to move forward. It is in this moment of near surrender that the protagonist has a crucial revelation. He realizes that if he keeps trying to change the same way, nothing will change. He needs a radical approach, something that challenges everything he has always believed about himself. He decides to stop trying to control everything and begins to accept that the path to change will not be linear. He starts to realize that the true challenge isn't overcoming fear, but continuing despite it. This realization gives him a new perspective and strength to move forward, knowing that true transformation happens within the mind, not in the world around him. After the revelation, the protagonist begins to act differently. He stops waiting for a perfect moment or for external change to motivate him. Instead, he adopts a new approach. to act even without having all the answers. He accepts that change doesn't happen overnight, but that every small step is a victory. Little by little, he starts to realize that the biggest obstacle is not the fear of failure, but the fear of trying. He feels the mental pressure easing as he begins to accept his own journey and the small failures along the way. Over time, the protagonist's confidence begins to grow. He realizes that difficulties are no longer a reason to freeze, but an opportunity to learn and grow. Instead of seeing mistakes as failures, he sees them as part of the process. Each time he slips or falls, he gets up stronger. This new understanding starts to change his perception of the world and of himself. He is no longer a victim of circumstances, but someone who takes control of his life, facing mental obstacles head-on. With courage and determination, he begins to see opportunities that were once invisible to him. The final turning point happens when the protagonist faces a challenging situation that before he would have avoided or disregarded. Now he faces this challenge head-on, without hesitation. His mind no longer sabotages him. He understands that true power lies in persistence and the ability to stay focused, even in the most difficult moments. He realizes that by confronting his own fears and limitations, he is becoming the best version of himself. This is the moment of greatest transformation, when he begins to finally see the results of his mental journey. When the protagonist finally faces the greatest obstacle, he doesn't just conquer it, he transforms. He realizes that the true victory lies not in the final result, but in the journey of self-awareness and overcoming that he's traveled until then. He is no longer the same person who started the journey. His mind is now stronger, more disciplined, and his confidence is unshakable. He has come to the realization that instead of seeking external approval, he has found something even more valuable: self-confidence. He finally understands that when you overcome your own mental limits, you not only achieve your goal, but you become a better version of yourself. In this moment of reflection, the protagonist understands that the true battle was internal all along. The world around him hasn't changed as much as he imagined, but his perception and approach have completely shifted. He looks back at all the difficulties he faced and feels deep gratitude for having persevered. Every mental challenge he overcame has become a valuable lesson, and now he's ready to face any obstacle that comes his way. He knows the journey never truly ends. With the mindset he has gained, he is prepared for anything. The story ends with one final powerful message. The protagonist, now strengthened by his journey, shares one last reflection with the viewer. He knows that everyone has their own internal battles, and that true strength is not in avoiding obstacles, but in facing them with courage and resilience. He looks into the camera and with a calm smile says, "True change begins when you decide to keep going, even when everything inside of you says to stop." This phrase echoes as a reminder that when the mind is challenged and overcomes its own limits, the impossible becomes possible.